Okay, next we are going to check how to convert a English sentence into the logic notations and logic compound statements, and how to convert logic compound statements into English sentences. Okay, this is very useful. So let STU denote the following primitive statements. We have given primitive statements. S denote Phyllis goes out for a walk. T denote the moon is out, and U denote it is snowing. Translate the following compound statements into English sentences. The statement is T and the negation U implies S. What is T? The moon is out. And negation U is what? U is what? It is snowing. So the negation U is it is not snowing. Then this is a conditional. So this means if P then Q. Okay, that is the conditional statement. P implies Q. So if the moon is out and it is not snowing, then Phyllis goes out for a walk. Okay, this is the English sentence. This is how we are translating the compound statement into English sentences. Okay, next look at here. T implies, negation U implies S. Okay, implication means here it starts with if. If T implies, what is T? The moon is out. The moon is out. Then what? It is if, again if is there. Okay. If it is not snowing, comma, Phyllis goes out for a walk. Okay, so this is the translation of this sentence. If the moon is out, then if it is not snowing, comma, Phyllis goes out for a walk. The next sentence is negation of S implies and implied by U or T. Okay, the first it is negation of. Then what we say, it is not the case. If the negation comes first, we always write it is not the case that. It is not the case that. What is next? Implies and implied by. The Phyllis. That is not the case that Phyllis goes out for a walk if and only if. Implies and implied by is if and only if it is snowing. It is snowing. This is what? Or the moon is out. Okay, so it is not the case that Phyllis goes out for a walk if and only if it is snowing or the moon is out. This is how we are translating the compound statement into English sentences. STU are given as Phyllis goes out for a walk, T is moon is out, and U is it is snowing. Translate the English statement into logical notations. Phyllis will go out walk if and only if the moon is out. If and only if shows that there is a biconditional statement. If and only if. What is that? Phyllis will go out walk if and only if the moon is out. Phyllis will go out for S. The moon is out. S implies and implied by T. If it is snowing and the moon is not out, then Phyllis will not go for a walk. If it is starting from if, so it's clear that there is a implication is there. If it is snowing and the moon is not out, so if it is snowing is U, and the moon is not out. Okay, I will write this. So there is an implication. If it is snowing and the moon is not out, so negation T implies then Phyllis will not go. So the negation again, negation S. This is the answer. Okay. So it is U and negation T implies negation S. The next is, it is snowing but Phyllis will still go out for a walk. In logic, but have the same meaning of and. Okay, so we are using and for that. It is snowing. What is it is snowing? U. And Phyllis will still go for a walk. U and S. So this is how we are changing English statement into logical notation. In computer science, if then and if then else decision structures arise in high-level programming languages such as Java and C++. When dealing with if P then Q, the computer executes Q only when the condition P is true. Only when the condition P is true. For P is false, the computer goes to the next instruction, the program sequence. Next instruction in the program sequence. So if P is false, the computer will go to the next program in the program sequence. Okay. For the decision structure, if P then Q else R. If P then Q else R. Q is executed when P is true and R is executed when P is false. Okay. Q is executed when P is true and R is executed when P is false. So if P then Q else is R, while the Q will take the value when P is true and it will take the value R if P is false. Okay. So when P is true, Q is executed and when P is false, R is executed. Okay. Then next we are going to study about the tautology, contradiction and contingency. Tautology, contradiction and contingency. Okay. So a common statement is called a tautology if it is true for all the truth values assignments for its common statements. Okay. Whatever may be the primitive values, the final truth table value is always true. Everything is true, whatever may be the primitive. Then it is called a tautology. If the last column of the truth table value is completely 0 or it is false, then it's called a contradiction. If some of the values are zeros and some are true, 1. Some is true and some is false. That is 1 and it's a mixing of 1 and 0. Then it's called a contingency. Okay, next we are going to check what is the tautology from the truth table, how we are obtaining that. Negation of P implies Q implies negation Q. Prove that this is a tautology. Usually there is a question from this session in your university examination. Check whether it's a tautology from the truth table. Okay. So P is 1, 1, 0, 0. Q is 1, 0, 1, 0. Then P implies Q. What is P implies Q? P implies Q is 1. True implies false. It's false. All other things are true. Okay. Then negation of P implies Q. This is 0. This is 1. This is 0. This is 0. What is negation Q? 0, 1, 0, 1. Now A implies B. That is this implies this. 0 implies 0 is 1. 1 implies 1 is 1. 0 implies 0 is 1. Then 0 implies 1 is 1. Okay, everything is 1. So this is a tautology. Correct. Then next about contradiction. What is P? 1, 0. Negation P is what? 0, 1. What is P and negation P? 1 and 0 is 0. 0 and 1 is 0. So this is a contradiction. Okay. The previous example we did is example for a contingency. So sum is 0 and sum is 1. So this is a example for contradiction and this is an example for tautology. T0 denote for tautology and F0 denote for contradiction. Okay. T0 is tautology and F0 is contradiction. The argument starts with a list given statements called premises, like P1, P2, etc. Some given statement that is called premises, and a conclusion and a statement called the conclusion of the argument. Like P1, P2, etc. Pn are the premises, and trying to show that the conclusion Q follows logically from the conclusion. Q follows logically from the given statements. Okay. If each of the statements P1, P2, etc. Pn are true, then P1 intersection P2, the P1 and P2 and P3, etc. Pn and are true. Then the statement Q is also true. The Q must be true because all these are true. That implies something. That must be true. True implies is Q must be true. Then only we get a valid argument Q, because in implication, if the second thing comes as false, it won't be true. So Q must be true. So where the hypothesis is a conjunction of n premises. Conjunction of n premises. And if any one of P1, P2, etc. Pn is false, then no matter, because if Q is true, then even if any one of this is false, then the conjunction gives us a 0, and 0 implies 1 is always 1. So that doesn't matter. Anyone is false. If Q is true, then the implication is true. Consequently, if we start with the premises P1, P2, etc. Pn each with the truth value 1, and find the under the these circumstances Q also have the value 1, then the implication P1 and P2 and extra Pn implies Q is a tautology, and we have a valid argument. So when we are getting a hypothesis implies to a conclusion that is a tautology, then that is a valid argument. So this is how we are checking whether the given argument is a valid or what. Whatever may be the condition for the premises, the last implication what we getting is a truth. If that's a tautology, then the argument is valid. Okay.